Hello and welcome to the Super Hoops, where the Super Hoops walk, with myself, Luke, and alongside me, we've got the QPR faithfuls, we've got Jared, and we've got Michael. So today we'll be reflecting on the game, talking transfers, and looking at the aim for the season. We might also do a little review of the new kits. So, Jared, point to start the campaign. What do you think? How was the game?
I think it was probably the most nailed on 1-1 draw you'll see this season. I think it was um, we were decimated with injuries really. I would say four of the key players out injured. We had a really young team out. I think it was the youngest in the championship at the weekend. The first half performance was really promising actually. Better than what I had expected, created some chances, played some good football. And then conceding that goal early in the second half, I think really threw them. And it took a good 20 minutes after that to kind of regroup. He made some subs, which didn't really strengthen us. So I think after the equaliser, I think most people would have settled for a point in the end. But there was enough there to have a little bit of hope, though, for the season.
Definitely. Michael, what do you think? Was happy with a point by the end?
Well, you go in first game of the season wanting to win, don't you? But I feel like the way we set up and the way we played, I think we're a few signings short still. I think Seller looked non-existent up top. But the subs I thought were made on time, which is a nice change. And we brought good attacking options off the bench who created a couple of chances. But I have to say, Dembele yesterday, I feel like he'll be really important for us this season. He put in so many good balls, had a good few shots. Obviously, one of the balls he put in ended up resulting into an own goal for us. But yeah, he's going to be an important player for us this season.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of chat about him since the age of 11, isn't there? So it's the players that I feel like we've heard of for years. So it'll be good to see if he has a big campaign. I thought him and Poku. I think you got a bit of pace now, haven't you, Jared, on the wings? I think that might be an option for you guys going forward.
Yeah, I think they both showed really promising signs. Poku limped off injured. It looked like a hamstring injury. Hopefully, it's just cramp, but it would be a real blow if that was any kind of long-term injury for him. But I think those two were good yesterday. I think if they had a centre forward that actually offered something more, that actually stretched the defence and gave them a bit more space to work in, I think you'll see even more kind of impact from them. I think Burrell came on a sub and did more in 23 minutes than Seller did. So I would have thought moving forward, for the time being, he'll be the main man, because I think what he offers, he'll work tirelessly to create the space for the other three behind him, which is where we're going to succeed. Basically, if Chair, Dembele, and Poku play well, I think we'll have a fairly decent season.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Looking at the squad as a whole and looking at the transfer window, where do you think, Michael, where are we looking at what would complete the transfer window for you before we get to the end of the window?
Well, I'd like to see another holding midfielder to come alongside Varane when Varane's back fit. I feel like a left back, an experienced championship quality left back like Harry Toffolo at Forest. I think if we got him on loan or bought him, he'd be a good addition to the squad. And then obviously we're missing a striker. I think we've been rumoured for Bar from Schalke. I don't know what's going on with that. I think it's like a work permit or something. But if we get him, he could offer something different going forward. A physical presence. He's meant to be quite fast as well. So a pacey attacking front three is something that we've been missing at QPR for a long time. So yeah, 3 signings I say we need.
Yeah. What about you, Jared? What are you thinking?
I think if I had to prioritise two positions, a central midfielder is an absolute must. Field and Maddison yesterday struggled, and I'm not sure if Field struggled because he was playing alongside Maddison. If that makes sense, I think if you see him alongside Varane, that better quality, I think he'll improve. So I think a midfielder is an absolute must, and I think it'll be a long season if we don't improve that area. And probably one more striker. I think Seller. I just don't. I would really love him to succeed, but I just can't see it happening. I think a left back is a possibility, but I think with Lakesh signing a new contract, and then we had Escadenia at left back yesterday, a 19-year-old Brazilian, who actually had a really good debut, I thought. I think with those two, I'm not sure they're going to prioritise the left back, but I would have thought a midfielder. There's talk of Saito coming back, who was on loan last season, and I'd love him. I think he was brilliant. I think he's a great character, but in terms of priority, that wouldn't be a priority, because you've got the three that played yesterday. You've got Paul Smith, you've got Ryan Colley. So yeah, it would be a nice signing, but if I had to choose a midfielder and a striker, an absolute must.
Perfect. So with all that in consideration, what is the aim? What's QPR's aim this season? I mean, the beauty of the Championship, anyone can beat anyone. You never know, do you? You can finish 20th the season before and finish third the season next. So what would be realistic in sort of some terms? But what's the aim? What's the aim, Michael? What are you thinking for QPR this year? Can you push on? Can you go for a playoff position?
I think the aim would be a top 10 finish, I think, to set us up. I feel like this whole new system we've got going with Nori calling all the shots with our new manager, our signings, I think we're setting up for a 2-season period now, where we want to lay the foundations this season to go on a good campaign next season. I think top 10 finish would be something we'd aim for.
Jared, what about you? What are you thinking?
I think the two teams yesterday on that performance, they're not going to be challenging in the top 10. I think the club's aim is to give the younger players experience this season. I think hope that someone like Jonathan Varane really shines, sell him in the summer for big money, and then use it for next season to really push on. I think anything, a comfortable mid-table finish, I think is the best I'm hoping for, where we're not flirting with the bottom three like we did at the start of last season and at the end of the season. I think giving these younger players experience and really hoping that one or two of them really shine, because that's the model that the chief executive set up now. And I think Varane is the one that they'll be aiming to sell this time next season. And if they succeed with that, if we finish 14th and he goes for big money next season, for next summer, I think that'll be a really successful year for us. And it's a shame that we can't aim higher, but I think you've got to be realistic with the competition, with the money that other clubs are spending. Swansea's spending £5 million on a player, whatever. We just can't compete with that. So yeah, I would like a kind of stress-free season where we see these young players really develop, and it's going to take a lot of patience. I think on our behalf, the goal we conceded yesterday was dreadful, but when you put it into perspective, that you had a 19-year-old making his debut at left back, you had a midfielder who's 21 playing at right back. They were the two that were kind of caught out for the goal, and you're just going to have to accept that those things are going to happen.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like I said, with a young team comes the inexperience, but it also means there's room for development, isn't there? And that's what I think. It seems that, like you said, you touched on the QPR model being, trying to bring these youngsters, maybe trying to get some financial gain from them in the future. Are you happy with that? Are you happy that from a club's perspective, are you happy with where you are at the minute with the owners, what their sort of the model is? Obviously, you look at the sad situation going on at Sheffield Wednesday right now, and obviously the Morecambe story and all that. I mean, being financially strong and not being silly in the market is sensible. It is very key. What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, I think, we tried to, we went through a period where we spent loads of money when we signed Rio Ferdinand, Jason Park, Julius Cesar. It didn't work. And I think this is a much more sensible way to do things. It's the more modern way. You look at clubs like Brighton and Brentford and the way they've taken over. These smaller clubs than us, who last 10 years have taken over and are on track to secure mid-table finishes in the Premier League every year, fighting for a trophy or European football. It's the way to do it, I think. And I think what Nori's doing is a welcome. Like you said, with Sheffield Wednesday and with Morecambe, it could be a lot worse. And I think we count on blessings, really.
Yeah. What do you think, Jared? I think it's definitely sensible decision. You got to think about the longevity. I mean, listen, QPR, historic club, as are Sheffield Wednesday. You don't end up in the situation they are, do you?
No, and the owners have made mistakes in the past, but give them credit. they've stuck around. They've not left us in the mess, if you like. And I grew up watching QPR, where we would have someone like Andy Sinton, then you would sell him to a bigger club for £2 or £3 million. You would bring in Trevor Sinclair, then you sell him, and Les Ferdinand. So kind of the older fans are used to that kind of model, and then we kind of almost went out of business in the early 2000s and kind of muddled together a team. And then the Premier League years were just a disaster, really, because the club tried to be something that it was never going to be, and the mistakes were huge, and we're still paying off that fine now. So I think patience is going to be the key. And I sat there yesterday thinking it's going to be another season like the last few seasons where we just drift along. But with the young squad, I think if we see development there, then I think the fans have to be patient and have to be happy.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely the most sensible decision. It's should we touch on the Sheffield Wednesday story? I think it's an absolute mess, isn't it? I don't think anyone would want their club to be in that position, and especially the Morecambe one as well. I think that's very sad. Don't you think, Michael?
Well, yeah, of course, you wouldn't wish that on another club. But I mean, it's one of those. It's the EFL's fault. I feel like the regulations aren't tight enough on ownership.
Yeah.
So it's something that needs addressing, I think. So. Yeah,
I completely agree. Right, to finish off though, I'd like to talk about the new kit, the new garments. What are we saying about the new top? What are we thinking? Home and away? Are we liking it, Gerard? What do we think?
Yeah, I think they've actually pulled out three decent kits in the family. My son chose the green and white kit yesterday. Got the pink kit for my daughter. I'll probably end up with the home kit at some point. But yeah, I think they've tried to kind of stick to the roots with the home kit and the checkered pattern on there, showing some kind of respect to the team in 75-76. So yeah, I think it's the first season where I think all three kits have gone down pretty well.
Is that the little retro number you got on now?
This is an old one, yeah. This is an old one, 85 or 86, I think. Yeah.
You can't beat the classics.
Can't beat a good old retro.
You can't beat it. No. Definitely not. No. What about you, Michael? What's your favourite out of the three?
So I'm a bit more mixed. I feel like they are a bit underwhelming, the kits this year. This is the thing with the green and white kit. I like the fact that is a touch on 100 years ago what we used to wear. I think it looks nice. It's a nice kit. The home kit, I don't like the patterns on the hoops. I think my favourite home kits looking back are the ones with the red touch ups, like what Jared's got on. I think that looks smart. I think I prefer that, and I like it when it's got the stuff on the top and the arms as well. My favourite shirt though is probably the third shirt, I think, but I don't know when we're going to wear it, because I think if we're not clashing with somebody with our home, then we've got our away. So it's sort of like, but yeah, it's one of them. I feel like the best kit we've had in the last few years was like the black away kit with like the green and red pattern on it with the Hammersmith sort of stuff on the sleeve. That was probably my favourite of the last few years.
What is it with black kits? You can't go wrong.
No,
it's so fresh.
No.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, lovely. I think a point to start the season. You can't complain with that, and we'll see where we go. I think like I said, Championship, anything can happen. So we shall see. So yeah, thank you, Jared. Thank you, Michael. We shall see you again next week. Thank you for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe on all the relevant platforms.